Hi, today we are going to deal with another section of chapter 11 itself. Chapter 11, as we all know, deals with appointment and qualification of directors. We are going to deal with an important section, section 161, which deals with appointment of additional director, alternate director, nominee director and casual vacancy also. Subsection 1 of section 161 deals with additional director. It says who an additional director is and how he can be appointed. So let us see subsection 1. The articles of a company may confer on its board of directors the power to appoint any person other than a person who fails to get appointed as a director in a general meeting as an additional director at any time, who shall hold office up to the date of the next annual general meeting or the last date on which the annual general meeting should have been held, whichever is earlier. So it says only if the articles give power, the board can appoint additional director, else the board cannot. Because as the first point says, the articles of a company may confer on its board of directors. So the articles have to give power to the board, only then the board can appoint an additional director. Due to the use of the term may in the opening line of the subsection, it is discretionary on the part of a company to have this provision in its articles. However, where the company has adopted the model articles in terms of section 5, schedule 1 of the Act, in totality, the requisite provision is present. Even if the company has adopted some of the regulations of model articles, including this provision, the subsection would be invoked. So if the articles does not give the power, then the board of directors may alter the articles of association when they want to appoint any additional director. So once the articles of associations are amended, the board will have the power to appoint additional directors. The board can appoint additional director by calling a board meeting, as we already said. So a board resolution can be passed, or in case if a board meeting cannot be called, an additional director can be appointed by resolution by circulation also. And if given the power, the board can appoint any person. When the word any person comes, it means the person can be a member or a non-member. So any person can be appointed as an additional director. There is an exception that is given. That is a person who fails to get appointed as a director in a general meeting. That is, if a candidature of a person is not approved by majority in general meeting, such person cannot be appointed as an additional director. That is, the candidate should not be person who did not get appointed as a director in a general meeting earlier, meaning thereby where a person did not get the approval of the shareholders for this appointment, he cannot become a director through back door. That is another route of appointment via board process. This was a possible loophole. Now it has been plugged in this particular subsection. Also, we have to note that the additional director appointed shall be regularized at the ensuing AGM. It is a very important concept that we have to keep in mind. The third important point of subsection 1 is the time or tenure of an additional director. An additional director can hold office till the AGM, that is coming AGM, or the last date on which the AGM should have been held, whichever is earlier. So at the AGM, what happens is the additional director retires automatically. After AGM, he can be reappointed, but then again a board meeting has to be called. So here we have to understand what is the due date of conducting an AGM. As per section 96 of the Act, the time limit is within 6 months from the end of the financial year. That is within 6 months from the end of the financial year. That is, if your financial year ends on 31st March of a particular year, and the AGM has to be within the coming September. So, and we also have to note that the interval between two AGM should not be more than 15 months. Interestingly, we have to note that this subsection may take away the impact of extension of time of holding AGM through approval of the registrar as permitted under section 96 of the Act on the tenure of the additional director. So that means in case as per provisions, the last date on which the AGM should have been held is say 30th of September, and the company concerned has got an extension to hold the AGM till suppose till 30th October and actually holds the AGM on 30th October. So what happens is the tenure of additional director would be only up to 30th September. At any time, the board has the discretion to appoint an additional director for proper functioning of the company, or if the board feels that there is something they cannot handle and they need a person who has expertise in a different field, the board may appoint an additional director for this particular purpose. So we understand that this position is on a temporary basis and it is not for a permanent basis. We should also note something over here, that is, a board can appoint additional directors only when the upper ceiling of the number of directors allows the board to do so. If it has already reached the maximum number, say 15, it cannot appoint an additional director without passing a special resolution and amending the Articles of Association. With this, we come to the end of the first part. In this, we dealt with subsection 1 of section 161. In the second part, we will be dealing with the subsection 2 of section 161, which deals with alternate directors. Thank you.